it's Michelle, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some fun character treat bags for Halloween. I've got actually some pretty large bags. I've got the white lunch bag that I got at Walmart, and I'm going to be using a purple and a green that I got from Dollar Tree. And those are pretty large as well, almost as big as the lunch bags. But if you want to do smaller little individual trick-or-treat sizes, you can just use smaller bags and scale down the size of everything that we're putting on it. You could use these ideas to put on the front of cards or anything that you want. But I thought the treat bags would be fun for Halloween. And these Dollar Tree colored bags are really inexpensive and easy to find, so I thought we would go ahead and use those today. I had them on hand already. So I'm going to be doing 3 of those today, and you can really just let your imagination run wild and do as many of these as you want. We're going to be doing sort of monster-like characters, and the first one I'm going to be doing, if you couldn't guess already, is going to be Frankenstein. And I first wanted to show you how I did that with my Cuttlebug, so we can do that and show you an example and get the Cuttlebug put away and start working on the rest of our bags. But for this, I did some partial die cutting, and I just used a grass border die. And this die here has a line down the middle that you can see there, and that is a cutting edge. So it cuts across there, giving you this very narrow grass border. It gives you 2 of those sort of mirror image grass borders. And when I did that, I didn't want it to cut that line right there and give me a very narrow strip. I just wanted the border edge to cut. And I just did that with partial die cutting, and I'm going to show you guys that real quick. Pull my Cuttlebug over here, and I've got my A plate and my B plate in there already. And I've got another piece of black cardstock here just to show you guys for an example. So I'm going to take that and line it up near the bottom, and I'm going to tape that in place. I'm going to put that down on my Cuttlebug, but again, I don't want this line to cut. And for that, it's just partial die cutting, which means everything that's between our plates will cut, because, you know, the plates create the sandwich that applies the right amount of pressure to cut when it presses against those blades. So if you guys can see, I'm putting my top cutting plate on there, and I'm not putting it on top of anything that I don't want to cut, just over that bottom border, and I'm going to run it right through like that. And I did want to, for sure, tape those, or tape that die in place in case it didn't cut the first time. Let's see. It didn't cut completely. I do have some warped plates, so maybe flip this over and run it through again, partial die cutting. Only putting that top plate over what I do want to cut and not over that line so it doesn't cut. And if your plates aren't warped, yours might cut on the first try. But there we go. That cut. And you can see we didn't apply any pressure to this cutting edge here, so it did not cut. And then we got only the border, just that bottom edge to cut. So for those of you that didn't know, that is partial die cutting. You can cut only a portion of that die. Whatever you don't want to cut, just leave it hanging out from under your top cutting plate. Okay, so now my Cuttlebug is out of the way. We're going to go ahead and get started on our Halloween characters for our treat bags. So for this one, we're going to be using the green bag, and this is going to be of course, his hair. I thought that was really fun to do that with a grassy border. You can just cut with scissors and do a zigzag sort of jagged edge. If you have some jagged scissors or zigzag scissors or something like that, you can do that. But I thought this would be really fun today. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to kind of lay this on top of there, just as if it were already part of the treat bag, and I can kind of gauge how to do the face on there. So for his eyes, I've got eggs. I used the egg dyes that I have been having so much fun with, and I thought they were really good for these eyes. I imagined Frankenstein to have sort of long, droopy eyes, and that is with the smallest egg in that egg dye set. And here that is, for those of you who don't know. I've had a lot of fun with these this year, using them for just about everything. I really love these egg dyes, and they come in so handy. And if you don't have the egg dyes, I'll leave a link below if you want to order those, or you could also use ovals. And then I'm going to use some black circles for the pupils of his eyes. And I got those using my Confetti Dots punch. It was, I believe, this one here, the next to the largest one. Nope, the third one down in size. And I really love this punch. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles you cut with that. And if you bought each of these size circles individually and had to buy 8 different punches, that would be so expensive. And you get it all in one right here. And I really think that is very versatile. I love that confetti punch. Okay, and for his eyebrows, I cut a couple of strips of black glitter cardstock. And I just wanted a little bit of a glittery effect. I've tried to put a little bit, just the tiniest hint of bling on each one of these. And they're about a 1/4 inch wide by about 1.25 inches or so long. And I made sure to cut them wonky and angled on every edge so that it just looks kind of Halloween-y, I guess. So we'll put his eyes on like that. And then we'll draw him on a mouth and some other things. And then I've got something for down here that I want to surprise you guys with at the end of this treat bag. I think it's a lot of fun. And I was so happy when I found what was going to work for that part for me. So we're going to go ahead and start putting Frankenstein together. I think I want it to be about that tall. We can put his face up here a little bit. And I'm going to put his eyes on kind of wonky and crooked too. I'm just using art glitter glue on the back of my egg die cut. Now for the pupils of his eyes, I may need to use my reverse tweezers to help me place things just right. And then for his eyebrows, I think I want to put them on foam tape. So I've got my foam tape here from the Dollar Tree. cut that into thirds to make some narrow strips. And then cut this third one in half lengthwise. Okay, so I'm going to peel those backers off and go ahead and put his eyebrows on. And I think he's looking good so far. Okay, and now for his mouth, I want to kind of pencil it in a little bit before I completely put that on there in dark black. So I think that's the kind of mouth I want to give him there. And I'm using my black glaze pen. I just got this recently and I am really loving it. It's just sort of a black gel pen, but it dries in a glossy finish and it's super dark black. And I'll have to be careful not to smudge that until it dries completely. But I think that looks really cute. Okay, now for the fun part that I told you guys about. I just really love this. Of course, we know that Frankenstein's head is bolted on, and I looked through all of my dies to see what I could find, and this is what I came up with. I've got this lamp post that was kind of in a Christmassy sort of set, and I cut 2 of those out of a silvery cardstock. It's actually not very thick. If you have a thicker cardstock would be good. And if you can see here, this bottom portion from that little part there on down looks just like a bolt for the side of his neck, and I thought that was so much fun. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut that off. Cut the other one off. And now we've got his bolts for his neck. I think that is so much fun. And I think I'm going to put those on foam tape as well. Another one of those foam squares from Dollar Tree. Just cutting it in half this time. And put it right on that long part of what is now a bolt. Peel off my backers. I'm going to peel them both off so that I can place both of these at the same time, so I can kind of get an idea of how I want those to be placed. Now, how cute is that? I just love that. And he is almost complete. I think I want to draw a little line up here of his little scar on his forehead. We all know that Frankenstein has that scar, and I'm going to do some uneven, crooked stitching. And one more thing I wanted to do, if I can avoid those glaze pen areas with the black, I want to come in here and put some little white highlights with my white pen on his eyes. And that just adds so much life to his face. So now we're going to open up our treat bag. And I'm going to stuff in some tissue paper to sort of fill that out. I'm going to hold this up to try to get an idea of where I want that to be. And I think that is good right there. So when you get your treats in there, you can just fold that over about that much, staple it shut, and then you can glue right to that flap with this piece here, so that makes his hair. And if you want to, you can go ahead and fold that over. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut that down so that it fits the width of my treat bag. And there is our first treat bag completed, and I think that is adorable. And that was probably the most involved one that we'll do. I decided to go ahead and do him first because he was a little more difficult, and we're going to work our way toward the easier ones as we go. Next, I'm going to do my purple one. And of course, with purple, I wanted to do a one-eyed, one-horned monster. I've got a white circle, and that is from my EK Success 1 3/4 circle punch. And then I've got a turquoise glitter piece for the iris, and for that I used my 1-inch circle punch. And then I decided to put an oval pupil in this one to give a little more interest. And that is about a 3/4 inch tall oval, and I got that from Punch Bunch. And I'll leave as many links as possible to all of these for you guys. And of course, you know, you can always go over also to my Amazon store and find just about everything as well. And that is at www.amazon.com/shop/craftie. And I've got everything organized over there into different lists to help you find what it is that you're looking for. Okay, so for our one-eyed monster, I think I want his eye right about here, about center both ways, widthways and height-wise too. And I'm just going to put down my white circle. And then for my little bit of bling on this one, I've got the turquoise glitter paper. And I think I'm going to put that where he's looking off to one side. And then my 3/4 inch oval. And I've got this holographic paper with the circle designs in there that I got from Dollar Tree a while back, and I want to use that for his horn. But it's so thin, I do want this horn sticking up above the top of the bag, so I need to back it with something, and I'm going to put it onto watercolor paper because watercolor paper is very thick. And I'm going to use my Elmer's Extreme glue stick. I think that will hold super well. You don't have to use the Extreme. It's just all I've got. You can use the Craft Bond, which is what I usually use, but I'm out of that at the moment. So I think this will do just great. And then I'm going to lay that on there to adhere it to my watercolor paper. And my holographic piece here is about 1 inch wide by about 2.5 inches tall. I'm just going to cut away that excess. And I think I'm going to lay that aside before I cut that into my horn shape. I'm just going to let that glue dry for a minute while we work on the rest of our monster. And again, I'm going to pencil in the mouth before I make that permanent with my glaze pen. And I want to really have crazy mouth on this one. I think that looks good. And now I'm going to go over that with my glaze pen. And I think that looks so cute. And I'm going to put some little corners on the mouth. And I think that is perfect. And before we do the horn, again, I'm going to open up my bag. And I'm going to stuff it with tissue paper, so that it will kind of hold its shape like it would if we had it stuffed full of treats. And I'm going to fold this one backwards. I'm going to go 2 folds over, 2 small folds, about 1/2 inch each. About like that. And again, I'm going to staple it shut. And now we can work on our horn for our one-eyed, one-horned purple monster. And I'm using my decorative scissors in the wave shape. And you can get these decorative scissors in your scrapbooking section just about anywhere. So what I'm going to do to make this a horn shape, I'm going to go from the corner to the center of the top. And then again from that back down to the corner on the other side of the bottom. And I'm just guessing at it. It doesn't have to be exact. That's what I think is really fun about these projects. It's a monster, so if it's wonky, all the better. Okay, so then I'm going to go from that toward that bottom corner. And that actually might be a little bit too wide for my liking. So I'm going to come in and just match up my curves here and go a little narrower toward the bottom. And I think I like that. I think that looks really good. Okay. And I want this horn also up on foam tape. So I'm going to get one of my squares and let's see, I'm going to cut about 1/3 into one strip that I can use up toward the top here. I don't want to go all the way to the very top because I do want that hanging off. I actually might bring it down a little further. And then I can cut this into a small piece to go down here. And I actually don't want the very bottom to have foam tape either. Okay, so I'm going to peel off my foam tape, or I mean my backer, and I'm going to use my tweezers to help hold that so I can get that placed. I want to have the horn sticking up above the bag so that it really has that horn effect. I want to cover my staple there. I kind of want it a little bit to one side, and again, of course, crooked. So I think I like my horn like that. And I came up too far. Maybe I can just break it off. Yeah, that worked. Okay. And now I want to make this one a girl. So I'm going to create a bow up there right at the base of her horn. And I'm going to do that just like I did the bow. If you guys saw the video to my Christmas wreath bead charm, or my beaded Christmas wreath, I created a bow with beads that were 2 heart-shaped beads and a round one in the middle. So I thought I'd do kind of the same idea here with stickers. I'm trying to decide if I want her bow to be purple or pink. I think I'm going to go with pink. I think I want the darker pink. And these are just glittery heart stickers that I got around Valentine's Day at Dollar General. I'm sure you could find them at Dollar Tree also. So I'm going to place that one right about like that. And I'm going to get another one in that dark pink. And I'm going to put it just opposite of that. And I'm leaving about a 1/4 inch gap in between them for my circle. And that's going to be her bow. And for the circle, I have these glittery circle stickers that I got at Dollar Tree. And I thought this pinkish purple down here would be the perfect color for that. So I'm just going to get one of those and stick it right on. And that is a bow for our little girl monster. I think that is so cute. And for our last one, we're going to be doing the white lunch bag, and we're going to make a ghost. And I'm going to turn it over this way actually and fold that back a little bit, because that side that was already that way is where my seam is, and I don't want it to be on the seam. And the ghost is the simplest one yet. I'm just using googly eyes. And for my little bit of bling on this, I took my 1-inch punch again, and I punched it out of that holographic paper that I used for the horn. And I'm just going to put that right behind the eyes, and we'll barely have a little bit of an outline, just enough to add a tiny touch of bling to our ghost treat bag. And I think I'm going to put his eyes really, really wonky, about like that right there probably. And then for his mouth, I like the long mouth shape as if he's saying boo. So again, I am going to be using my egg shapes, and I think that makes just absolutely the perfect ghost mouth. And again, if you don't have these, I'll have the link below, or you can use an oval, which would also work really well. Okay, so this is so simple. I'm just going to go ahead and start putting it together. A little bit of art glitter glue on the back of my silver pieces, or my holographic pieces, I should say. Really, really wonky eye placement there. I think that's really cute. It adds a lot of character. So then some art glitter glue on the back of my googly eyes, right into the center of that. And these googly eyes are right at about probably 7/8 of an inch. They just barely leave a little bit of a border around inside of that 1 inch holographic piece. And art glitter glue on the egg piece for his mouth. If you wanted these to hold quicker, you could use a glue dot or something like that would probably work too. And you can see just that little bit of bling around his eye. Also helps give a little bit of definition around that white eye onto a white bag, just enough to help it stand out a little bit. So now I'm going to add my tissue paper to this one. And I'm going to close this one a little bit differently. I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it down a little bit. I cut off maybe 1.5 inches or so. And I'm going to take some double-sided tape and just tape it closed. You'll do this after you get it stuffed full of treats. I've got mine stuffed full of tissue paper, just so we can kind of gauge how that would be. And now with my double-sided tape in there, I'm going to just close that top right together. And the reason I wanted to do that instead of just folding it over is I'm going to take those wave scissors again and cut the top of that. And I just thought that was a good ghosty little edge. And there's the top of your little ghost bag. And that is all there is to it. Like I said, you guys can let your imagination run wild and you can come up with so many more Halloween monsters or other characters that you want to do for your treat bags. You can take these design ideas and put them on the front of cards. Anything that you want to do, the possibilities are absolutely endless. And I had so much fun with this project, and I think they turned out so cute. So you guys leave a comment below and let me know what you think of my Halloween monster treat bags. These were so much fun, and I know that you guys could come up with lots more ideas for characters to put onto these. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a like over on my Facebook page, and be sure to join our Facebook group, Crafty Minds. Also follow me on Pinterest and Instagram, and don't forget to visit my blog. I'll put the links to all of those in the description below, so be sure and check them out. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.